Hey YouTube, it's PD Two Finger, and I am playing around with the Mystic Spirit box. So this is the chassis. It's a cigar box. It says Greycliff on it. So it's a trapezoidal shaped cigar box with a gloss green finish. And the first thing that I did was mount a subwoofer speaker. This is a subwoofer from a computer. So it's a mini sub. It's not nothing to write home about, but it's a heavier magnet, and I used a hole saw to let the sound out. Now, what's going on here? This is there's a battery pack. The black thing holds two 18650, so it's like 8.3 volts, and the Noisemaker Circuit is this. I bought this off of it was a kit. I bought this off of eBay. It's a XOR2206 is the name of the chip. So this produces a sine wave, a triangle wave, or a square wave. I'm all about the sine wave. That's the one that I like. It sounds like a theremin. You can produce a low note and it won't pop like a square wave. It'll go pop, 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 which is a neat effect, but I prefer my low notes to stay consistent and just sing at a low frequency. Now, this kit, we put this together tonight. It was a breeze to assemble. It's got these 3 potentiometers. I'm really way up in the air about this project, like as far as what I'm going to do. The thing that I don't like is mounting potentiometers in wooden enclosures. I do not like that. Now, I've developed a trick where I pre-drill the hole, and then I use what's called a Forstner bit, and I'll take a little bit out of there, like about the size of a $50 and a quarter. In between that, usually just a little bigger than the mounting hardware. So I'll take that out, and then I'll drill the full size diameter. So it's a pilot hole, then the Forstner bit, and you got to really be careful, because see, what you're dealing with is you need to remove, like, let's say I'm going to mount some pots. I mean, right now, okay, I'm looking at 4 pots at least. Really, 5 would be the best. 5 would be the best. So I can do some side-mounted pots, which I probably will. This is probably going to be a lot of like me making this face, holding my breath and cursing and swearing when I break some shit. So yeah, let's say I side mount the master volume and the reverb time pot. That leaves me with the additional 3. Now, I could very well just say, fuck it, and rip 4 screws onto this main board and just screw the board right on the chassis, and then drill a couple wires for the holes to go through, and just have this sitting on the top. Very well could do that, but I kind of want this thing to look cool. So I'm more than likely going to be, let's see, what did I say? 3. Here's 3 right now. 4. 5. Maybe what it'll end up being is 3 pots on each 3 rows. 3 pots here and 3 pots here. That may what it may end up being. But the controls on this are amplitude, which is volume, and then there's coarse and fine. And then there's also you pull this jumper, and I can replace that jumper with a toggle switch, you know. But the jumper changes capacitor, so that changes frequency ranges. And I really would only be doing that in 2 registers. So 1 toggle switch would take care of that. So I need a power switch. I need 1 toggle switch, maybe 6 pots or 5 pots, master power switch, and then a momentary contact switch that probably will have a sister switch to bypass that. So if you want to just play it, you'll hit this switch, but if you want to turn it on and off, R2D2 style, that switch would bypass the momentary contact. And I got a really nice chrome momentary contact switch that has a lot of mounting thread on it. So that will be able to be mounted on the roof without any diddle daddle with that Forstner bit, hopefully. What's up, Conti?
Phillips.
You need a Phillips screwdriver.
Yes.
Okay. Here's... Let me know if that geeks out on you. So the idea with this, there's this tone generator board, which this was like, I think it was like $8. It came with a little chassis. The thing with the XOR2206, it's a chip that with just very few additional parts. As you can see, there really isn't much. There's that row of capacitors, there's 4 resistors, and then 3 electro caps. So it's really not much. And I've built these. The XOR2206 is my favorite chip. It produces this lovely sine wave, and you can tap in a CDS cell and then do that theremin trick. And whenever I have a device that glides in pitch, I always incorporate an echo. And in this case, I've got a Mariana's Trench. I'm saving that for another. I'm probably going to build that into a pedal. But this is a karoake echo board, and I moved the pot. The pot was installed for an echo volume, like it controlled the amount of echo, and I would never want it less than it is at max. So they said remove R27 and install a 50K potentiometer to control the delay time. And I'm all about controlling delay time. So I removed that, and actually I just unsoldered the 50K pot that was in there and moved it over and plopped it in. Then I experimented around. I had a couple of needles going to test probes, going to a 1K resistor and a 10K resistor. And I was shorting different points on the board to try to get it to go into infinite feedback. Now, I found 2 points on the board that actually do that. And you can see those 2 green wires? One of them's on where the old pot used to go, and one's coming off the side of this little electro capacitor. What I did, when I was using the needles, I was going in this field of resistors and capacitors that's below the chip. See that whole rectangular area of little guys? That's where I was going in there, and there was 2 points that were sending it off to run away. There was a couple, but they were all basically the same thing. So I used the continuity test on my meter. I went to each one of those points and then went to a lot of other points on the board where it would be much easier to come in and tack on a wire, to solder in a wire. And I found that they counted out to 2 real easy spots to get at. One being the old connection for the pot, and the other being, you can't really see it that good. It's on the side of that capacitor up there. So that will probably run to a momentary contact switch for runaway echo effect. Again, I'm like, it's more and more stuff I'm adding to this. So I'm just going to have to be careful when I am boring stuff out for this. And if it breaks, I will put a plate on it. I'll cut an aluminum plate, bolt it in, and then remove all it'll be a. And that's why I need a machine shop. That's why I need like what Clementine does, his channel, like that guy. He plays with big boy tools, and Petey's not. I'm not good. I just don't have the tools really to do that stuff. Anyway, yeah, this is going to be an exercise in just carefully drilling, pre-planning, and and I've done stuff like this before. This one I'm going to want to make it look nice. So that's the Mystic Spirit box. It's this sine wave generator that you can adjust, play slowly with the knobs, and then there's going to be an additional control set, which is an antenna that's split. One end of the antenna has a CDS, cadmium sulfide light cell, light photoresistor is the proper name. It's just like a pot, but it responds to the amount of light or shadow that's on the sensor. And on the other end of that antenna, the smaller piece is a 3mm LED. And this is something I've done before. I've got a project called the Newt Case Souk. And if you've ever seen that video, you remember you can do these ghost noises. That one's got an LFO, so the LED pulses. It's really neat. There's a ring mod you can switch on and off on it, a built-in delay. It's got filters with LFOs on it. It's really like a rudimentary synthesizer. There's 4 different voices in it. And I'm very proud of that. This is going to be, the idea with this was just to have a small box that did one thing, and that was produce a sine wave and have an echo. So that's what the 3 boards are. There's the tone generator, the echo module, karoake echo module, and I think that this was like $4 to $6. I think this was like $5.99. That's what I paid for this. It might have been less. And then the amplifier module. Look at this little this little guy here. This is a TPA 2030. So this is rated at 14 watts maximum. Of course, I'm running it off of 8 volts. I'm not sure what the load is. It's going to be way more power than what I need. I played around with this thing today. I cannot tell you how unbelievably cool it sounded. It was in the lower registers. I cracked the lid. That's going to be part of the design, is cracking the lid to let the sound pressure out and get different timbres. I cracked the lid and I had it low, and then and it was just hovering, and I pulled the delay up. And it made the scariest sound. Like this, you could do horror movie soundtrack stuff with this. Then I had the fine. I had it pulsing way at the end of the spectrum on the big capacitor setting, and I was moving the fine, and it was going through the delay, so it was comb filtering, and Kat was freaking out. Kita was tripping, and then I got it up into the higher registers, and he completely freaked out. So I quickly realized I'm going to need that switch for the octave to go really low, and I'm going to want to bring up the master volume for those playing around when it's low, and I'm going to want to kill it when I get up into the higher registers, because it's going to be ear piercing. So there isn't going to be a tweeter. I had another project like this before, and I mounted the tweeter on the back of it to hit you with the high end. I'm not going to do the tweeter. All of that effect is going to be done through the opening and closing of the lid. I'm probably going to mount the slider back here. There'll be a delay knob here for the echo. Master volume's going to be over here. Momentary switch will be here. And then probably 2 pots and then 3 pots over here. I don't know. I've got, with something like this, what it comes down to is I get to point B or point C with the electronics where everything's hooked up and working and modified. And then I sit down with a pencil and I write down how many pots, how many switches, and then I look at it see where they're going to go, and then I'll get out a caliper and start measuring stuff and try to get it in a straight, put down a piece of masking tape, punch the holes, pre-drill, vacuum it all out, install everything, and then usually when you install everything, then something's broken. Something won't work, and you gotta go and monkey around again. But this is a project that was on my list to get done forever. I've had this box for a long time. The main thing that's challenging is playing around with the antennas to get a maximum length on it, and to have it respond really well with the brightness of the LED, and to get the full maximum sweep out of it. So it's more than likely how it works is you're going to have a combination of the pot with the light sensor. And I'm probably going to do it where, see, there's the amount of switches on this thing just keeps going up and up and up and up. If I can do it where there is no switching, or maybe on that octave switch, if I could somehow have the middle setting of that disconnect the the fact of the matter is it's just going to end up being more switches than I need to. And once I hopefully I don't break through or screw anything up on this. So wish me luck. That's the Mystic Spirit box. I hope you enjoyed it. And sorry for such a wishy-washy video. You guys take care. I'll see you soon. Peace.